Hello everyone. Welcome to the first proper nerdthing stream in a long time. Won't be long. I mean, I will probably be streaming for no more than maybe 20-30 minutes. But that's not the point. What we're going to be doing is a little bit of work on the Inferno Engine today, which is an engine that we are working on for our upcoming games. I'm just finishing up the setup for OBS. Right, and then I shall center this. Now these screens are literally stuck together in a couple minutes. I'll be working on centering stuff properly later on. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to jump into Sea Lion, where we've got a bug which I started because I wasn't using my computer at the time. We're going to fix now. So let's switch the view over. And I don't have the chats on yet, so let's turn off studio mode and I'll add in the chats again. Discord chat, YouTube chat, there we go. Cool, so this is the programming ID that we use. Right, let's see how this is going to work, because it wasn't building on Windows. Right. Request for width in target, oh, okay. And then conversion there does not work. Let's set that to auto and see what happens. Well, that's not very useful at all, is it? Duration cast, will this work? No matching function, right. Let me pull up the documentation for Chrono. I am focusing just on the Sea Lion windows, so you won't be able to see Chrome and whatever else is running. Just because I haven't constructed them yet. Can I just cast it to a duration? Because by the looks of things I can. So what I'm looking at here is somebody just constructing something of 2 times minus to each other. So maybe if I just pop a cast there, is this gonna make it happier? Or is this not gonna work? Nope, no cast. Okay, so let's see what functions time has. Time since epoch. Yeah, that might work. Dot count. Okay, no, I can set this. Okay. I can get the time since the epoch. Right here. And that might work. So let's see. It builds. Let's see if it runs. That is running at a reasonable frame rate actually. Let's have a look, because I believe I set this up to 30 and that looks like it is doing 30. No, it's doing 60. Let's go and move it to 30 and see. You guys can't actually see the output, can you? Okay, let me just tab back to OBS and bring on the screen. Where's the display? There we go. Now let me just add in the chats again. There we are. Okay, so this is the current test program, and I'm stuck already. So collisions have got, but no, we've hit a breakpoint maybe? That was strange. I think something just locked up there. Okay, so this is 30 frames per second. That is what I would expect. So if we move that up to 60 FPS. So this is what we're looking at here. This is what we want to see from Windows. So if we comment this, there we are. We'll commit and push this. What's on here? Oh yeah, Streamkit. We can use this browser for. Can I? I think so. Let's have a look here. Let's jump to Windows build, because Mac is currently just failing repeatedly. Why do I even enable code analysis? Because I always ignore it. Let's go. So what we want is for this to build, and then I shall test it using that. Wine. That's what it's called. Right, so let's switch the view again for a second to C-Line. Just while I try and clean up the folders, because I don't know what we have on these drives at the moment. If it would stay out of my Windows drive, that would be great. Do some tidying up. Dum da dum da dum. And that looks good for now. I should just tidy this up. Right. Create a new window and go into the Inferno CI build there. Cool. And let's see, is our build running yet? Yes, it is. Let me just convert over to Firefox. Right. Just got a bit of a messy workspace at the moment. Right, that looks fine. Let's just jump back onto the display here. So we're currently waiting for this build. And then we shall download the artifacts. And then we'll see if Wine is running at the same speed. Because currently, I believe this build... No, other frame, other window. Oopsie. Currently this is running at 1 FPS, but it isn't running at 1 FPS. That is supposed to be running at 1 FPS, but it's 4 seconds slower than Linux is for some strange reason. Right, so I'm just smack end key on here. We should wait for this hopefully builds. I think the libraries are all supported on Windows. Mac seems to have an issue with our file system library at the moment. I'm trying to work it out, but I don't have a Mac VM yet, so I can't test properly. Well, Mac users don't generally... We don't target the Mac user group at this point. Right. This is nearly built, and then I shall try and run it. Alright, now let's run it. Doesn't take an expert to notice that this is running the exact same as the Linux one. Let's just pull up the Linux build. Right, this is Windows. Linux. I believe this is running at the same speed. Let's do my standard test. Let me restart both of them one at a time and time how long it takes to get to the bottom of that square. 1. Okay, that basically gets there in 1 second. Now these aren't accurate, these are just baseline. 1. Okay, that seems a bit slower, is it? Am I just seeing this wrong? No, these are going at the same frame rate now. Perfect. Okay, so you can finish the rewrite now. We are currently in the middle of redoing the renderer, because it's in a bit of a mess, as you can see. This is the old rendering code. And up here somewhere is the new rendering code, yeah. From this point here, up here. So we're calculating these. Okay, so I should be able to draw render targets using the new system by now already. I believe we just need to add texture support, but to check that we have support, let's go to game and render our target using the new system. Let's find the draw calls. And here when we draw this, we now want to go draw target. Let me just write that. I realise I've just used the old one again. Oops. Right, we want to go render target and then rectangle, bar width, bar height. Oh, don't do that. View width, view height, and then we jump out of that. Null pointer because we do not have a source rectangle. Set it to the depth of 0, and then graphics, color, 255, 255, 255, 255 for white, because we don't have any constants yet. So now if I run this, it should work. Okay, so our target did not draw. Let's have a look at what we put in, just verify all the values. All of our values look to be correct, so let's have a look at the renderer. And then this might fix our issue, potentially, because that is one of a number of issues that I've noticed. It does not correct our issue. So we bind the target after setting the matrix, and then we apply the Inferno texture just to make sure that it is correct. Get the coordinates, and then we just build the buffer data with raw. And that should just be left 0, right 1, top 1, yep, that's all correct. And then I build the buffer data, left top depth, that color, and the ampersand data, and I'm drawing it as a quad. I am confused as to why this does not work. Is it the buffer data here? It shouldn't be, because this is all being built. Looks to be the same here. Let's remove this code just in case it's being fired for some strange reason, even though we would be getting an error. I just like to try things just as, even how stupid they sound, might actually do something, but just what I've learned, but nope. Let's just check on the chat. Cool. Right. Okay, so we bind the buffer, static draw. Nothing to speak about on terms of that. If we create the blank texture with a different color, let's go back to the old draw for a second. And just see that I've not broken everything. Yep, everything shows up. Okay, so if I go and change the default texture, let me just find the constructor, which will be up here, way up to the top. Never mind, but down a bit. Here it is, right, blank texture, let's set that to 0 just to see, so there's no red in the white here. Just to see if everything draws differently. Yes it does, so that's working fine. Textures are not the issue. And therefore it should be the same as drawing a rectangle, but without blank texture there, and with different text coordinates. Bind the buffer, bind that, that's all working fine. Let's copy this. Is there a comment button on here? I wonder. Can I go shift /? Nope. I should know that that's question mark right now. Let's just add that and see if it draws upside down. Because that's what would happen if this was... What? Oh, I didn't... I got excited there, I was like, wait, it worked? No. This should draw upside down. It doesn't draw at all. Okay then. So we know it's not an issue with the buffer. So it might be an issue with DL draw buffer, but it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So let's create a breakpoint and have a look at this. Destination rectangle 0, 0. Yep, that looks right. Target is correct. Color looks okay. Go down here to have a look at the buffer. Data should have coordinate, texture position, which is wrong already. Texture top should be 1. 0, 1, 2, and then texture, and then color, position, text position, text. Okay, so texture coordinates are off. Somehow. They should be fine. Let's go to the add function and see that we're adding these correctly, because that's the only reason that I could see for it not working. Okay. I'm just an idiot. Texture coordinates were being ignored when they were being filled out. So now we can remove this breakpoint and fingers crossed have everything show up. Way. Great. So now we've got that working, and now it's exactly the same for textures. Even the same syntax, except we're using texture 2D instead, and we've also got another change. Alright, so we just draw the texture instead. Hello, why? Position, source, rectangle. Oh yeah, we got vector origin as well. And then I shall add this call in a second. For now, this should be fine. Something seems off though. Source, rectangle, float, depth, texture, position, rectangle, pointer, source. Okay, color and depth is switched over. I'm going to fix that because I don't like inconsistencies in the API. If one is one way, then I have one the same way. Draw texture, don't do that. I'm just going to change. I apologise for the music being repetitive as well. ID there. Okay, I need my... I've not even set up my if statements yet, but that's fine. Does not match anything. Oh yeah, wait, why not? Texture, destination rectangle, source rectangle, depth, color. Oh yeah, vector 2 origin. I keep forgetting about that. Okay, and then I need negative origin.x, negative origin.y. Texture, get width, get height. Perfect. And now these two will actually need swapped over, so that becomes text top, that's becomes text top, that's text bottom, because of the way we handle textures in our system. Okay. This looks to be okay. I just need to add a draw texture call here. Texture, rectangle, integer position.x, integer position.y, texture, get width, texture, get height, and that is our rectangle. Y, oh, that's merged for some reason. Source, rectangle, depth, color, origin. Okay, so texture drawing should be working now. I just need to add my ifdef OpenJL and such, because these are OpenJL setups. It's just good practice, because if we ever add DirectX Pure support, then we will want to use that. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to just remove all the old API. It's no longer used. Obsolete, as they say. So I can just remove all this. Gone. And now we can hit build so we can find out where all the old usages are. And draw underscore textures, right. Oh, I need the heads up thing there. Get current texture. Rectangle bounds.x, bounds.y, sprite width, sprite height, and then an ampersand sprite get source rectangle, because we want a reference to it, because otherwise that's basically why we enable null pointers. We use a pointer so we can enable null pointers. Okay, so okay, and then I want to get color 255, 255, 255, 255, and then 0. Wait, where is that 0? Okay, I need vector. Okay, and why can't I click an ampersand? Because that's temporary. There we go. Perfect. Okay, that's that usage cleaned up. Let's just hit build and see if there's any more. I don't think there are. Perfect. So if I hit build now, everything should appear where it's supposed to be and how it's supposed to be. That's with VSync off, isn't it? Let's try VSync on just to see if that's an engine issue or if that's just because VSync is disabled. Let's have a look. Why is it doing that? Why is it jittering? Is that expected behavior? In fairness, it is moving 2 pixels per frame. Let's try changing it to 1. I should probably also not use magic numbers. So for now I'll just use it as a hashtag define, but I would probably make this a field if this is an actual game. Okay, yeah, that's fine. It's just the fact that I'm moving it a strange... See, if that was 8 or 4 even might work. 8 would probably look a bit more natural, maybe. No, it just jumps because of the 60 FPS cap when it's running it. So if I change this to 30, it might look more natural. So basically, the VSync is capping it at 30 frames per second. I got stuck. Why does that break when I get stuck there? Yeah, there's a collisions bug. Oh, it breaks the game as well. I shall need to look into that because that's bad. Basically, when VSync is false and the frame rate is unlocked like it should be by default, I believe. Let's go into the header and see if it is. I don't actually think it has been. No, it has. So basically, the frame rate can move infinitely compared to the update, which is fixed, which can also be disabled. Let's go and smack a breakpoint on all the collision stuff and then try and get stuck on the corner. I believe it's getting stuck in a loop somewhere, which would be a for loop, meaning in the scene class, because we only have 4 loops here, because all the other ones are like this. Nope, that's fine. Try to work out if it's a spatial hashing issue. Calls and rows, that would never be out because that's calculated there, that's never been put in as a field. Let's just jump down to instance because I want to make sure that I am doing 4 loops here, but that would never be out of bounds either, would it? Let's jump to instance.h because that is where the colliding function is implemented because of the nature of the function. It's got a template on it. Has to be defined in here. Damn it. I need to get stuck first and then I can... Okay, I'm sufficiently stuck now. Nearby is a vector, so I can check the contents of it. 0 and 1. It is just infinitely looping this for some reason. In fairness, it is being called every update, but I don't understand why it's locking down the thread. Oh. We just killed the game somehow. Did I push the wrong button? Okay, so maybe it's an issue with my game code. Yeah, while we're colliding, we remove stuff from the velocity. If get next position is this position, then we're still colliding, but the velocity would be 0? I'm not sure. It's definitely a design code flaw here, more than anything, I believe. Because I'm pretty sure this would probably fail. So I'm gonna put that down to code bug here. If I just remove the collision defense stuff here, just set these to 0 for now, just to stop you from moving. Basically, that code was to make sure you're always coming up next to that. So like there might be a strange gap in the bounding boxes. Yeah, see, now I'm not doing this strange getting stuck in stuff. My head goes through it, but that's because of the bounding boxes, I believe. I might set up a function that displays the bounding box of the player, so... Draw the rectangle. Get underscore bounds graphics color 02550 0 true, no, false 2. Alright. I forget I'm not in the Inferno library anymore, so I can't just use that. Okay, so I've got a green outline, and it's going through. No, it's merging. Basically, that is a wider box, I believe. If I go into the wall code, yeah, it's being drawn with a thickness of 2. If I draw everything with a thickness of 1, they should never intersect, because it's checking that they are intersecting before moving. It still disappears. Oh, because the same pixel, yeah, that is intended behavior. Basically they're colliding at the same point, but one of them is above the other. I'm gonna make it just so the player one is what? Is depth not working how I think it's going to work again? Okay, the depth just doesn't work for textures, maybe? No, for rectangles. Why is depth not working for the rectangle? Draw a rectangle outline. Oh. No, that is getting pushed. Draw lines. Depth is being added to the buffer. And vector 2, 0, 0, which is correct. Because there's no texture coordinates on this. I'll have to look into that. But for now, collisions are working at least. I believe that I'm going to pause the stream here, and I shall return after I've had something to eat.